Coming from a big family would have good and bad elements. It would be nice knowing that you would never have to be alone, but it would also be awful never being able to be alone. I didn't grow up in a massive family, so if you did, hit up the comment section and let us know what your experience of having a gigantic family was like. But the Loud House has taken this concept and blows up to the point where the jokes just drip out, and it has become one of the most popular cartoons on television. And with its popularity have come some crazy theories, and that is what I'm going to bring you here today. Hello, most amazing Top 10 family. I'm your host, Chade Arena, and today we will be counting down the top 10 scary Loud House theories. As always, I would love it if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. And stick around until the end of the list because I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts, which you guys love so much. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, we have Lucy's dark hair. If we flip through all the Loud House siblings, we will see that their hair color splits into two separate directions. You either get kids with blonde hair or kids with brown hair. Now, Lucy has black hair. Why would this be? Well, she is a goth, so it's pretty standard for someone who is repping the gothic attire to dye their hair to complete the look. A goth with glowing blonde hair wouldn't look as creepy, but some people think that the reason her hair comes out as jet black is because she is a child of infidelity. Oh my god, I mean, how else does one kid seem so different from all the others? The Loud House parents might have kept this a secret because they didn't want to break the family apart. In a way, this is actually beautiful because even through this infidelity, they have managed to stay a happy family. Well, somewhat happy. Coming in at number 9, we have the orphanage. How do you pack so many kids into one house? I mean, maybe someone needs a lesson in contraceptives. There's nothing wrong with a huge family, it's just a lot of work. How are you going to cover all those college tuitions? Well, some people think that the Loud House is the way that it is because all of the people who live there are actually orphans. The house isn't one big family at all, but a place for kids who have nowhere to go. Eventually, they become like a family because they have no one else and make the orphanage their home. Oh, that's actually kind of sweet. But this could explain the drastic difference between all the kids in the Loud House. When you meet siblings, they are often somewhat alike. It's only natural they grew up in the same home. But the Loud House family members sometimes seem like they were pulled from all different corners of the world. Coming in at number 8, we have Lynn Loud has OCD. The sporty one in the family that is always trying to one-up the people around her to show everyone that she is the best. Now, this could just be a healthy competitive spirit of a child, but it could also be a serious disorder. People with OCD will usually have rituals that they follow all the time. They will find it hard to break rules even when those rules seem arbitrary, and can sometimes flourish in activities that have strict guidelines to follow, like sports. Lynn often shows that she is unable to not focus on being competitive. This is most likely a cute character trait made for the cartoon so she can have a more distinct personality, but maybe she's trapped in a world of obsession that she cannot escape. The further we get into this list, the more and more living in the Loud House seems like a lot of work. Coming in at number 7, we have Lincoln is an only child. Now, if this is true, it would literally turn the show upside down and would ruin everything we have come to love. So I'm pretty convinced that this theory will never become reality. But what if Lincoln wasn't actually living in a big family, but he just pictured all of the events that his family is partaking in his mind? Lincoln may be neglected by his parents and crave more attention at home. A lot of his friends talk about how they have brothers and sisters, so to fill in the void in his life, he turned to his imagination. He built a world where his family was the biggest it could possibly be, so he would never feel alone. He made himself the middle child so he could imagine what it would be like to have older and younger siblings. Obviously, Lincoln is the main character, but isn't it a little strange that he is the center point of almost every plot that takes place in the house? There are so many other characters living in the Loud House. We should see more unique plot lines without him. Coming in at number 6, we have Lincoln's white hair. One more character that has different hair color. There is one other Loud House family member who has different color hair, and that is Lincoln with his Steve Martin white hair. Now, how does a kid lose all the color of his hair at such a young age? Well, some people think that it could be a birth defect. It could be that his body doesn't produce the protein that your body needs to give your hair color. But another theory is stress. The Loud House is an extremely stressful place to live. So many people often competing for attention. You would almost never get time alone to decompress, and even when you do, you would often be interrupted by something chaotic. This insane environment caused Lincoln Lincoln so much stress at such a young age that he has already lost all the color in his hair. Someone get this kid a meditation tape and a quiet room. He needs a break. And number 5, we have Lincoln was adopted, rolling off another theory to explain Lincoln's ghost white hair. We all think it's strange that a grade schooler has the lush locks of Clint Eastwood, right? Well, some people think that his hair is white because he was adopted into the family. The Loud House family is all girls. The parents might have wanted to have a boy just to mix things up. After trying again and again and again to have a boy, they decided that they weren't going to finish having kids, but they didn't want to leave everything up to genetics when it came to babies. So they thought if they can't make a boy, they will buy one. That sounds way more sinister than I meant it. They went through all the legal channels to properly adopt a child, and then it was so expensive they decided to have more kids, but biologically, and of course they were all girls. This could be another explanation for Lincoln's white hair. It's very clear that he doesn't dye it, so this has been a mystery amongst fans of the show for a very long time. Coming in at number 4, we have Lenny is a mastermind. Now, Lenny isn't the smartest character of the Loud House. She often has taken the role of the ditzy blonde who seems to be more concerned with her looks than her IQ, which I support because I live the same life. But there have been moments in the show where Lenny has shown spurts of genius. Now, these might have been flukes, but some fans think that she is actually pulling a fast one on her whole family. She quickly found out that it's better to have everyone think that you are dumb and be very smart than have things the other way around. Through this disguise of stupidity, she can more easily get the people around her to do what she wants, so she might actually be the smartest one in the house. Coming in at number 3, we have Lincoln has borderline personality disorder. Living in the Loud House with a massive family might send anyone to the loony bin, but there might have been some signs of a serious mental health disorder lurking around in Lincoln's mind. First, we have his constant mood swings. Lincoln can go from being happy to infuriated at the drop of a hat. There's also his reckless behavior. Now, this is most likely because he's a kid surrounded by a ton of stimulation at all times, but Lincoln will often put himself in harm's way to get some sort of pleasure out of life. And there's also times when Lincoln seems very selfish. Again, he is a child, and these are normal tendencies of a kid, but maybe there is something a little darker at play. All of these things I just mentioned are warning signs for borderline personality disorder. Coming in at number 2, we have Lucy is actually a ghost. Maybe the dark disposition of Lucy isn't because she has a close relationship with the occult, but also because she is the one member of the Loud family that didn't make it. The idea is that Lucy was actually a preteen goth who loved everything to do with death and darkness, and one day she died in an accident. But what the family didn't know was that she had placed a protection spell on herself that allowed her spirit to come back to see the family. The whole family was haunted by her and at first was terrified, but after a little while they got used to having the ghost around all the time. That is why they act normal when they see her. The bat that is always following her around is now her spirit animal that is attached to her ghostly presence. And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have where does the money come from? You have a house of 11 kids and you manage to make sure all of them have everything they need to fuel each one of their unique personalities. I mean, putting Lynn in that many sports alone should seem like a huge financial strain on the whole family. But you also have full chemistry sets in the house, video game consoles, and games, and I can't imagine what the food bill would be like for that family. You have to feed an army of growing children. So what do the parents of the Loud House do for a living? There are a lot of theories about this. Some say that they inherited a huge chunk of money when they offed an old relative. They then had a huge family to cover up their tracks, because who would suspect the parents who are taking care of a bunch of sweet children to be criminals and murderers? Some people say that they loaned their kids out for free labor, and that was actually the motivation for having a big family. More kids equals more workers. In the end, we might never know how this middle-class family is able to support a basketball team's worth of people. Alright everyone, that is all we have for you today, and as promised, I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. I pick new pets each day, so if you don't get picked one day, you can message back another day. I usually pick who messaged most recently, so if you don't get picked, you can message again and again and again. If it takes me a while to get back to you, I am so sorry. I have a lot of these to do. And without taking any longer, let's shout out some pets. To start off, we have 3 little stinkers. We got Pixie, Allie, and Spider-Man. Honestly, naming a dog Spider-Man might be the best thing ever. Right after that, we have Snowball, who is really good at soccer. I heard that they're getting signed this year. Next, we have Banjo, who is posing perfectly for these professional pictures. Then we have Lucy, who looks so cool with all those stripes. And to close it out, we have the dog Marrow, who looks so cute with that big old smile. Alright everyone, that is all we have for you today. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I've been your host, Shade Arena, and keep watching The Loud House. Great show.